Hey everyone, thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today we are going to be doing another episode of Cliff Dwellers. We'll see if Bitcoin holds on here. Let me just grab this and put it in a few different chat rooms so people know we're doing it live. And then we will jump into what's going on in the markets. All right. So let me switch this over to maybe the hourly. We just had a pretty nice drop there in the last hour. It dropped around 3.36% or so. But anyways, I think that as we've said for a while now, I think the idea of a sustained V-shaped recovery is unlikely. And we're in for some consolidation here for a while, right? For a while. And I would not expect that consolidation period to be over in a month or even 2 months. I think it's going to take a while. So right now Bitcoin's trading at around 34.5. So we're still sort of in this little window over here. It'll be interesting, I guess, to see if it's still putting in a higher low over the last few weeks, at least on these wicks. So this is why I came live, because I want to see if are we essentially just gonna to move up from here. Obviously we don't really know for sure, but we are generally moving higher. I'm not convinced, as I said before, I'm not convinced. I don't think we're gonna have a V-shaped recovery, and I think it's gonna take a while to build out. If you think about it, 15 months of basically just bull market, and we get 1 month of a bear market, and people are trying to find their Wyckoff accumulation, drawing it out on 1 hour time frames, when the Wyckoff distribution took place over months. You're not gonna find Wyckoff accumulation on the order of hourly candles. So I wouldn't bother with that. But anyways, right now we maybe can put up some moving averages. This is a 20-day, so we got fairly handily rejected by the 20-day. This is one of those ones we've said to watch out for in the event that we go back up to it. Kind of got rejected back over here. There's been plenty of other times as well. So we got handily rejected by the 20-day SMA. The 20-day right now is at a modest $37,000. The 50-day is even higher, coming in hot now at $46,794. So that's still a ways off. The 100-day SMA is all the way up at $51,550, and the 200-day SMA is at $41,841. The crossover of the 50-day and the 200-day is inevitable at this point, unless Bitcoin can move up by a modest $1,250 per day. If Bitcoin can move up $1,250 per day, then this will be avoided. It'll look something like, let me see if I have it. It looks something like this. So if Bitcoin on average moves up $1,250 a day, the death cross can be avoided. If you think it's going to move up $1,250 a day, then maybe you think that the death cross will be avoided. I think we're going to have it. The implications of having one obviously can be debated for here on out. But I'm not debating what happens when you get one. I'm just sort of saying I think we're going to get one. And the only reason we would not is if Bitcoin is moving up on average $1,250 a day. That's $2,500 every 2 days, or $5,000 every 4 days, or $10,000 every 8 days. So if Bitcoin can move up about $10,000 every 8 days for the next 2 or 3 weeks, then yeah, we'll avoid the death cross. Which is why I don't think it's gonna. Which is why I think we're gonna have it. I feel like it's very hard for us to avoid it at this point. Now, if we look at a few other things, so I want us to look at a few other indicators as well. Let's go look at our extension from the 20-week. Obviously, now we're extended to the downside rather than the upside. But I want to look to see how far down we've gone in the past. It might be worth at least exploring the fact that, hey, even at the current levels, we have seen dips below these levels. I mean, this one was significantly below it, but we've even had dips that extended further out from the 20-week SMA than we currently are. Again, this indicator here is the natural log of the price over the 20-week SMA, right? The natural log of the price over the 20-week SMA. Now remember, a lot of people like to say that this time is different in terms of, we've never seen anything like it. Again, I will remind you that it's actually fairly standard stuff. I mean, the extension from the 20-week SMA has not done anything it's never done before. In fact, it continued to put in diminished volatility from the 20-week SMA. When you look at it over here on the weekly time frame, you can see each time we come up to it, it seems to have a slightly diminished effect. This one was a little double move up. I mean, this one was in January, and then this one over here was in March. So this is this is why I'm saying, like, I think that we need consolidation for months. We need months long consolidation. I don't think that a V-shaped recovery is in the cards, not at least in any sustained manner. And if it is in the cards, and if we do go up like that, which I don't think we will, but let's assume we did, then I would be very pessimistic about the likelihood of Bitcoin actually making it to 6 figures. Like, I think we need a while to calm down. And you can see we're getting that now. We are getting that now. I mean, Bitcoin's at 33,846. So you can see, again, we've dipped to areas even slightly below this in terms of the extension from the 20-week SMA. I also wanted to throw up this little corridor that we've talked about as well. So let me see if I have it on here. Okay, so when you look at it, let's just look at it in terms of what happens when the slope has ever plateaued. What has happened when the slope has ever plateaued for the lower bound here? Well, in this instance, we came down just a little bit lower. Okay, we came down just a little bit lower a few weeks later. But whenever it plateaued, it didn't immediately shoot the green band back up. Again, it plateaued right here, and then we came down for a while. It plateaued right here, we came down for a while. It plateaued right here, and we came down for a while. You can see it sort of plateauing right here. So this is why I think that we're not about to see an immediate V-shaped recovery. I mean, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin for the next couple of years. I'm bullish on Bitcoin essentially permanently, but I still think the cycle is a longer cycle than most people think. Therefore, the consolidation phases are going to last longer than most people think. Okay, I think the consolidation phases will last longer than most people think, because most people think that it's going to peak this year at $200,000-$300,000, and I think that's just simply not true. And therefore the accumulation phases, or the consolidation phases, or the bearish phases, whatever you want to call them, I think they'll last longer than some people may think they will. Because there's a lot of people out there that that think we should already be back at above 70K or 80K at this point. Again, if it happens, it happens. But I would be I prefer to be conservative. I prefer to be a lot more conservative with things and then be pleasantly surprised if they happen, rather than to bet the family farm that something's going to happen and then watch it not play out. So that's where we currently are. Let's see where we are with respect to the regression rainbow here. So this is where we are on the regression rainbow right now. You can see, in fact, that we did get pretty handily rejected by this regression line. We've never gone to a regression band even below the one from the prior cycle. Again, this one was there, and then this one dropped down some, this one dropped down again, and then still, again, more intracycle volatility, I'll grant you that, but we have not been able to decisively move into the upper regression bands. And again, they're only going to get further away from us as well. I mean, they're only going to get further away as time goes on. For instance, the gray band, which we got rejected from, currently ranges from, let's see, it currently ranges, let's see, from right here, so 69,965 up to 120,627, and then the next one goes from 120,627 up to 207,974. So that, yeah, this is why I'm saying I think this one for sure is one we can never catch. So that doesn't mean we can't go to 100K. I think we will go to 100K. I just don't think we're going to do it immediately. So by the time we do go to 100K, at the very least, it would be in this band. We just need time, right? This is why I always say time is on our side, is we just need time. We need time to play out. We need time for Bitcoin to consolidate. We need reaccumulation. We just simply need time. So that is that indicator. By the way, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Let's try to go for 1,000 likes, but definitely subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's definitely subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's go for 500,000 subscribers. I mean, we're putting in 453 right now, somewhat rookie numbers, but let's go for 500. Okay, so let me take that one off. Let me take this one off. Now, if you look at the bull market support band, one of the things you'll notice, as we've discussed, is that the sentiment in the market can change with altcoins when Bitcoin's below the 20-week SMA, right? I mean, how many altcoins do you see putting in new all-time highs right now? There's not very many of them, okay? I don't need to be informed of your pet project that is. My point is that when Bitcoin's down in these areas, it's hard for altcoins to put in new all-time highs. Just because of the general lack of immediate short-term confidence by Bitcoin. Now, the bullish indicators in the short term that we've looked at, I guess, as we showed the other day, the MACD on the daily, on the weekly, it still looks pretty bearish for a while, but on the daily, we did have this little crossover not too long ago, but I mean, maybe it's going to be short-lived. I don't really know about short-term moves. I mean, that is something you can take to the bank for sure, as Ben doesn't know what's going to happen in the short term. The 20-week SMA continues to plateau. As long as the price is closing around these prices again at the end of this week, it'll probably continue to go sideways, because if you go back 20 weeks ago, the price was closing at around these prices. So if you see the price close at around these prices again, then by the next weekly close, we're still going to have a 20-week SMA that's just going sideways. And then eventually maybe it'll start to curve back down. And this is going to be the key line in the sand that we're going to have to spend a lot of time trying to break, I think, is when we do go back up to it, are we going to get rejected by it? Are we going to get rejected by it? Wherever that happens, whether it happens here or whether we come up here and then try to break it, wherever it happens, that's going to be the line in the sand that we need to decisively break for us to get bullish. Not only do we need to break it, we need to go above it, come back down, test it as support for more than 1 week, several weeks if possible, like we did back in August, September, and October, confirming a new life into a bull market. Now, again, if you look at the cycle ROI from market cycle bottom, as I've shown you guys for years, that this cycle will likely take a lot longer to play out. It probably won't go to 100K as soon as a lot of people think it will. And then we just need some time. I think we'll make it there. We need more time than I think most people speculate we'll need. Okay, so we're just showing the various cycles here as measured from market cycle bottom. I just like to overlay them to show, hey, where we are in the current cycle, and to show that if anything, we've been ahead of schedule for a long time. And I back over here, I said, hey, we're ahead of cycle 2. We're probably not gonna keep pace with it. We didn't. Now we've been ahead of cycle 3. I said, hey, we're probably not gonna keep pace with it. Doesn't seem like we are. You can see we're sort of coming out the other side over here. And at this time during the last cycle, we were immediately started pushing in new all-time highs. So in a month, if we were to continue to track the last cycle, we should be pushing 80K, which again, I don't think is going to happen. I think we need to consolidate in this area, and then we can begin the next leg of our journey wherever that takes us. But I don't think we're going to continue to track cycle 3. I think that's too optimistic. If we were to track it, it would put us going to over 300K by the end of the year, which again, I think is too optimistic for Bitcoin. I think we need more time than that. And to show that, hey, we were ahead of schedule, we're still basically on par with the last cycle. So, I mean, if anything, we can't even jump to any conclusions yet, because we're still essentially where we were after the last cycle. Okay, we're still, at least at this point in this cycle. So let's continue to be patient, I would say, as I've maintained for for years that this cycle will ultimately not be able to keep pace. I think we're finally starting to see that. You know, and if we're in this region over here, if we fill out this region, this is when I start to get super bullish, because then I'm like, all right, this makes more sense from a mathematics perspective. It makes more sense that in terms of diminishing returns, harder to push the market cap as high. Then I'll start to get really bullish, hopefully for another leg in the cycle. But I don't necessarily expect an immediate V-shaped recovery. I think we're in for some months-long consolidation. And right now we're still well below the 20-week SMA. So I mean, we still have a long way to go before we can even start to think we're going to be getting super bullish here in the short term. Here are the regression bands. Okay, here are the regression bands. Right now, the upper part of this band is at over 20K already. Okay, it's already at over 20K. And the upper part of this one up here is approaching 96K, and it's moving up by approximately $70 a day. So, in a few more months or so, the upper regression band will theoretically allow for a six-figure Bitcoin, but right now it still has it capped out at approximately $95,931. Of course, there's going to be some uncertainty in that, and no, we have slightly gone above it in the past with these wicks. We have slightly gone above it in the past, but I'm just saying, we're getting to the point where it's starting to allow for a six-figure Bitcoin whenever the next leg begins, which is probably, again, it's still months. I think it's probably months away. I don't think it's going to happen this month. I don't think it's going to happen next month. But I'm just saying, we are starting to get into that territory where we are going to be pushing the upper regression band. The top of the upper regression band will be putting in, it'll be looking at around 100K. Sorry, I haven't looked at the chat. Yeah, hopefully, was anyone at Bitcoin Miami? Was anyone there? How'd it go? Oh, hopefully you guys enjoyed the conference. I was not able to make it, but if you were able to make it, hopefully you enjoyed it. Yeah, I heard some of it was a little cringe. I mean, I think you're gonna get that in anything where there's like a large following. There's always gonna be like some members who are super super aggressive with what they think. I mean, like, I'm pro Bitcoin and I think Bitcoin's the king, but anytime like, you have to also respect that there's other assets in crypto that are also worthwhile and not just worth calling them whatever. But anyways, I mean, I've heard some good stories as well. I think a lot of people had a lot of fun out there, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Even if there were some occasional moments that weren't as ideal or representative of maybe what the whole crypto market would think. Hey Ben, besides Cardano, is there another crypto that you're staking? We have the Cardano stake pool. Again, if you want to go stake ITC2, we also have an Avalanche stake pool. So we have videos on that. You can, if you just search the channel for Avalanche, you can go stake your Avalanche with the ITC stake pool. Well, it's not actually called ITC on there. You'll have to find the link in the video for that. But I am staking Avalanche on the ITC stake pool as well. I'd like to stake it on some other networks as well. I mean, just to be completely honest, I've looked into a lot of the other ones. There's a lot of some of these projects, they have some work to do. Let's just put it that way. I mean, some of them have limits on the number of validators, and like, it's just capped out right now. So I'm sitting here thinking like, yeah, like, decentralization, okay, and then you're gonna limit your validators to like 100 or something. Come on. So clearly there's some stuff that some of the chains need to work out in order to actually try to at least pretend like they're decentralized. If you're gonna limit the number of validators on your chain to like 100 or something, I'm not sure how you can claim any level of decentralization. All right, goodbye Galaxy Studios. All right, we're now at 34K. Let's see, maybe keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is at 41.75%. All right, well, I was just trying to read the comments. Hey, I put out a tweet recently. Hey, I'm not your crypto therapist. In fact, the last time I put out a video on when I said, hey, Bitcoin appears to be in a bear market now, and I even gave my definition on having weekly closes below the 20-week and saying I don't know how long it's going to last, but I got a lot of flack for that from the crypto community. And hey, I'm just here to communicate the data. I'm not here to be some emotional therapist or something. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that'll do that. You probably know who I'm talking about. I'm just here to talk about the data and to show where we are, to show why I believe consolidation is going to play out for several months, and not be an immediate V-shaped recovery based on what where we are in the cycle, and to recognize that hey, weekly closes down here. They're not the most bullish thing in the world, right? They're not the most bullish thing in the world. That's why I keep saying, consolidation for a while. We can go lower, make no mistake about it. We can go lower, but yeah, I mean, let's just stick to the data. It's easy to get swept away with how we feel about something. Let's just stick to the data. Let me go back to. I think there was another indicator I wanted to look at. I think we already looked at this one. Yeah, this one right now has the floor at around 30.6, but you can see we've had wicks below it as well in the past. It is really leveling out right here. Let's see where the 50-week is. So the 50-week has previously provided an area to bounce from. Okay, you can see back over here we had a pretty sizable bounce that was about 50% off the 50-week. You go back even further, here was another sizable bounce essentially off the and we had a wick below it, but about 77-78% bounce right around the 50-week SMA. Right now, the 50-week SMA, for those that are curious, is at 29,316. Okay, so 29,316. If we get a bounce of, let's say, I don't know, if we go to that level and then we bounce 40%, it could take us back up to the bull market support band, because the bull market support band, again, is going to start rolling over here. If these prices don't recover, right? We're going to start to see this roll over. And so if we do come down and then we bounce, it'll be interesting to see if we can get back above that. So I would keep an eye out on the 50-week in the event of a continued correction. After that, there's the 100-week SMA. That's all the way down to like 19K. The last time we went to the 100-week SMA was back in April of 2020. Over a year ago. It's been over a year since we visited the 100-week SMA. And then the worst case scenario, as I've drawn out really, is the 200-week SMA. That tends to be where we find support. Obviously, it won't always be like that, but we found support here at the 200-week. We found support there. We had a wick down to the 300-week SMA. We also found support at the 200-week SMA right here, right here, right here, and right here. So the 200-week SMA is sort of like worst case scenario. The chances of it happening maybe aren't that high, but it's worth at least considering the worst case scenario at the very least. And right now it's pretty low. It's like 13K, but it's still going to continue to move up. And we're obviously not going to immediately go down to it, even if we were to go down to it. So I would say the first area of support would probably be the 50-week SMA, and that's currently at 29,317. In the event of a continued correction, I'd be looking out for the 50-week. From there, it's much further drops down to the next levels of support if we're unable to hold those levels. At the very least, what I've always said, in order for Bitcoin to make a run to 100K, we need to have a sustainable 20K. What does a sustainable 20K mean? Well, it means we need to have a weekly close above the 20-week SMA. We then need to go back and down to the 20-week SMA, test that support, and say, all right, we held the bull market support band above $20,000, which we have not done yet. I mean, we held it at 10K, and then we didn't look back, and then we dropped below it at around 50K or so. So what I want to see is in order for me to get immediately bullish on Bitcoin going to $100,000, I think we need to grind out for a while, consolidate for a while. We need to get back above the 20-week SMA. Hopefully when the 20-week SMA is moving up, get above it, come back down, test it out support, confirm that above 20K, and then I'll be bullish on 100K Bitcoin. Until then, I just feel like we're playing in the sandbox, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, it just doesn't really matter if we go up a few $1,000s. Who really cares? Certainly no one's getting out of bed for a $42,000 Bitcoin, even if it were to pump back up to the 20-week EMA. So that's what I would say in terms of trying to find a level that Bitcoin can actually hold as support where it's above the 20-week SMA. And the reason I say it'd be nice if the 20-week SMA were going up when we cross above it is because, well, in the past when we cross above it when it's going down, it tends to not hold as support. Okay. Like here we crossed it when it's going down, and then it didn't hold it as support. Here we crossed above it when it was going up, and then we held it as support. Obviously not something you can take to the bank. I'm not saying you should go take it to the bank. Just an observation that not only do you need to go above the 20-week, you want to actually hold it as support, and then hopefully it can be sustained for a move higher. I mean, that's basically what happened over here. We moved above the 20-week. 20-week was moving up. We came down. We flirted with it here. We then tested it right here for about 6 weeks, and then we just blasted off. So these things take a long time to play out. They're not going to play out over a month or 2 months. They take a long time to play out, and that's why I see the cycle going on longer than people think. Someone says they'd recently, or someone says he'd get out of bed for a 40K Bitcoin. I don't know if it'd be worth getting out of bed for a 40K Bitcoin at this point. I mean, who's getting out of bed? Or how many people here are getting out of bed for a 40K Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, as I've always maintained, guys, we have a long way to go this cycle. Let's not get carried away. I think we're in for consolidation for a while. I don't know if we're gonna get moves back up to the upside or not, but even if we do, I still feel like we're in consolidation for a while, and that we're not going to immediately put in new all-time highs. So that is something I'm pretty adamant about, and if I'm proven wrong on, then so be it. But I do think we're going to spend some time kind of chopping around, like not immediately going back up. All right. Remember, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the Telegram channel. You can find a link to the Telegram channel in the description below. Someone says, why can't we speak about a new bull market in 1 year? What needs to happen for you to look back at this and say this was a new bull market? I don't understand the question. It doesn't really make sense. I don't really know how to answer that question. I mean, I think that when we're below the 20-week SMA, things are bearish. So I don't really know. I mean, like this move right here has ended. Obviously, we've entered some new phase over here. So I guess I don't really understand the question. With the current trajectory, when is the death cross? I looked at this earlier actually. So if Bitcoin were to go sideways at these prices, so I mean it's hard to know, right? I mean it's hard to know what Bitcoin's going to do on any given day. But if the price of Bitcoin were to go sideways, then we would get the death cross within 2 weeks. I think it was I think it was within 2 weeks we would get the cross if Bitcoin goes sideways. If the price of Bitcoin goes down, which it has been since I did that calculation, because I did that calculation assuming it stayed at like 35,500, if Bitcoin goes down, then we'll actually get the death cross sooner, okay? But note that in the past, we've actually had pumps when we get a death cross. I mean, the general trend stayed the same, but like over here, we had a death cross and the price of Bitcoin pumped like 40%, okay? So let's not assume that a death cross has to immediately mean it's going to crash. I mean, it could just mean the trend's the same. Consolidation for a while longer, but you could get a pump on the death cross. It's similar over here. Like you had a pump on the death cross, and then you had like a dump on the golden cross, right? A dump on the golden cross, and then here you had a pump on the death cross. So a lot of times it kind of does the reverse of what people might think it'll do, at least in the short term. A death cross is just the 50-day SMA going below the 200-day. So it basically just be these crossing right here. So if like you were to extend that out, and then extend this out, you can kind of speculate that within maybe 1 to 2 weeks there'll be a cross. But it's really hard to know exactly because it depends on the price of Bitcoin. Like it's dependent on the price of Bitcoin for the next week at least, most likely, and we don't know the prices yet. Yeah, the crosses essentially just tell you what you already know, okay? I mean, they're moving averages, right? They tell you what you already know. By the time you get a cross, if things have been moving down for a while, yeah, I mean, things are bearish, but you already knew that. You already knew that from the fact that Bitcoin's down, 50% or so from the all-time high. You didn't need a moving average to tell you that things were bearish. Yeah, someone says I'm pretty sure you can't call this a bull market anymore. I don't. In fact, I put out a video, a couple weeks ago saying that it seems more like a bear market right now to me. I mean, and I just defined the bear market based on the 20-week SMA. Again, it's not like an emotional thing. It's not me thinking like, oh, well, it has to go to this certain value by a certain time. Because again, I don't think it'll go to these 300K valuations by the end of the year like it's predicted a lot of places. I think that's fairly too optimistic. My point was just saying, well, if you're below the 20-week SMA, it's somewhat bearish. Like that's the only thing I'm saying. Like it's somewhat bearish. Some people took offense to that, and you know what? I'm not your crypto therapist, so I don't know what to say. Like I'm just saying it's below the 20-week SMA. Therefore, to me it's bearish right now, and until we get above it, it seems a little bit bearish. Like that's what I'm saying. So let's just take it one day at a time. Like I still am optimistic that Bitcoin will make it to 100K later this cycle. But I think it's okay for us to spend some time in this region. Like, I think that it's okay. I mean, if Bitcoin had done something like this, where it did this, then people would be super bullish about the current price right now. But it's because it came up really quickly, and now that it came down, people are super bearish. So I think that we've moved up relatively quickly, and consolidation for a little while is not a bad thing. Yeah, guys. I mean, look. I think basically everyone here would benefit from Bitcoin going to 100K, right? I think most everyone here would benefit from Bitcoin going to 100K. Whether you hold Bitcoin or not, you probably have altcoin positions, and you would benefit from Bitcoin going to 100K. So we can probably safely assume that most people watching the channel would benefit from Bitcoin going to 100K. I'm just saying that in order for us to do that, it's going to take a while, and to not schedule your Forbes interview just yet, like we need to wait a while, let things consolidate, let things cool off for a while, and then things can go up. But I think we just need time. That's why I always say like time is on our side. Remember that time is on our side with Bitcoin. So we need time and lots of it. We need time and lots of it. Sorry, I'm trying to read the chat. Remember to check out the sale on the premium list. I think we're going to end that at the end of the week. So if you guys want to lock in the lower rate, I'll just post it in the comments. Check that out. You'll get access to how I'm navigating these markets, weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, etc. We also do have a public Telegram channel. If you guys want to join that, we have over 43,000 people. So if you're looking for a chat community, I'll just post it in the chat. You guys can join it if you want. Yeah, I mean, Ethereum is holding up relatively well. Like, I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? It's holding up relatively well. If Bitcoin continues to get hammered, I would be skeptical as to how well it can hold up. So far, I'm pleasantly surprised at how well Ethereum is holding up. Like, this is pretty impressive, I think, from Ethereum, that it's actually holding up this well. I think the main thing that will dictate whether Ethereum is able to continue this trend is Bitcoin not having a major dump. Okay, so like if Bitcoin goes back to 36K, 37K, something like that, and we just sort of chill out for a few weeks, then I think there's a good chance Ethereum's going to put in a new local top against Bitcoin. Like maybe it'll pass 0.082 that it hit a few weeks ago. But if Bitcoin is on the cusp of a dump back down to like 30K or below, then I think it's going to be very challenging for Ethereum's valuation against Bitcoin to hold these levels. So that's sort of where I stand on Ethereum right now. If Bitcoin has a dump, I don't know that Ethereum can maintain this. If Bitcoin sort of rebounds back to 35, 36, 37K, 40K, whatever, then yeah, I think there's a decent chance the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation can continue to put in new local tops. I mean, it's not going to put in a global top anytime soon. To do that, we'd have to go all the way back to like 0.15. We're nowhere close to 0.15, and again, you should probably measure it by market capitalization rather than the absolute value, because it doesn't take into account the supply of the asset. Yeah, why don't we can pull up some moving averages on this though. The bull market support band on this one is all the way down at 0.047 and 0.051, so we're still looking pretty good there. The 50 weeks all the way down there. We used to actually look at these monthly moving averages. I'm actually curious where the 20-month is, because the 20-month actually used to be level of resistance right here. And if I don't know if you actually watch the channel, if you were one of like the 3 people that watched my channel back here, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we always mentioned that this was our, once we got past this resistance point, we should blast off. We did, and then we came back down to it, held it as support, and now we blasted off. And just to show you where it currently is, it's all the way down. It's moving up relatively quickly, but right now it's down at 0.033. So that's a long ways off. I mean, the last time we held it as support was in December and January at around 0.025. Now it's moving up relatively quickly. So this is what I'd like to see, because in the event of a dump, I'd want this moving average to move up as quickly as possible, because I would hope that we could hold that one as support in the event of a dump. These are monthly candles, though. Ether right now is at 2,600. Let's take a look at the 20-week SMA on the Ether USD valuation. So, right, we went down to the 20-week SMA not that long ago. And, you know, last cycle, we went there a lot as well. Let me go over to Kraken so we have a little bit more data here. We had several visits down to the 20-week SMA last cycle. You know, you can note a number of them. And we had one major capitulation below it. And when we fell below it, we actually went down about 50% or so. But that was actually that was probably one of the best times to buy Ethereum in that cycle after this consolidation phase, and it didn't really last very long, just lasted a few months. So far, you know, we did say, hey, we're probably going to get these massive corrections. 60% corrections are par for the course. We've had a 60% correction, so there's your proof. You can still have 60% corrections even when the institutional investors are coming on board. We rebounded off the 20-week SMA. We're currently ranging at around 2,600. The 20-week SMA right now is at 2,200. The 21-week EMA is at 2,187. So right now the bull market support band for Ethereum is around $2,200. So if Bitcoin were to dump, that might be an area to look out for Ethereum to at least try to hold the line. Yeah, I mean, another thing with institutional investors, institutional investors were around last market cycle too. I mean, they weren't as publicized, but there were still some around. Have I considered enabling monetization on my YouTube channel since they put ads on your videos regardless? I don't think you guys have to see videos, or do you guys have to see ads on my channel? They've always been disabled. I'm assuming you guys don't have to see ads. Has anyone ever actually seen an ad on my, like, before my videos show up? I don't think so, but I guess I don't really know if YouTube's gonna go around me and do it anyways. Justin says, so much for stock to flow with Plan C. Plan C has always been what I've always said is lengthening cycles, and that people are being too optimistic, thinking that the price is going to go to 300K this year. It's just likely not going to happen. We need to consolidate for a while and recognize that the cycles will lengthen. I mean, this is pretty evident to me. If you go measure all the different cycles, whether you want to measure it from the halving or the bottom, I mean, the same thing, right? I mean, this one was 48 weeks. Obviously, it's somewhat subjective, but this is why we look at it in a lot of different ways. That one was 106 weeks. This one's 153 weeks. So to assume that this one has to be the same length as the last one would put it at 153 weeks. We put it out in November, which is why a lot of people think it'll peak at the end of the year. I'm saying, well, why don't we extrapolate a little bit dubiously and say maybe it takes longer. Maybe it happens sometime in 2022 or 2023. And it looks something like that, right? Is that such a bad thing? I don't think so. Maybe some of you guys do. But to me, that makes a lot more sense than us going to 300K by the end of the year. All right, good. It looks like none of you guys are. It looks like looks like you guys aren't seeing ads. Good. I don't want you guys have to see that stuff. We need more fun with crypto videos. Yeah, maybe at some point. This is sort of the journey I see us on. Okay, this is sort of the journey I see us on. Like maybe like over here, this will keep moving up. So I don't know if we go down to this level or not, but if we did, and then we came up, to maybe the top of the regression band over here. This is sort of what I see for this cycle. Again, I could be wrong. I didn't think we were going to go to 64K this quickly, but I certainly don't think Bitcoin is I think people are thinking it's about to put a new all-time high. I don't think so. We actually had no weekly closes in the regression band. Interestingly, we had a wick here into it, second wick, third wick, a fourth wick, and a fifth wick. We had 5 weekly wicks that went into our upper regression band. Not one of them had a weekly close in the regression band. By the way, when we went into the regression band the last time, the lower bound to the regression band was just shy of $62,000. Now it's over $65,000. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people always ask me, well, do you think Bitcoin could go to 100K in 2021? It certainly could, but I would have also been skeptical of it going to 64K. So, right, what the hell do I know when it comes to these short-term blow-off mania things? Like, I mean, it could go to 100K in 2021. I think the cycle top's probably closer to 120 to 140, and probably not in 2021, maybe 2022. And probably not early 2022 either, later in 2022, maybe even 2023. Again, I think we need some time here. Give us time, right? Time is on our side. We need time. The idea, I love all the comments about Wyckoff accumulation. Come on, like, it's not like it's going to play out exactly how people think it would with Wyckoff accumulation. I mean, Wyckoff distribution took months. Wyckoff accumulation is not going to take a couple of weeks. So let's just, if everyone on the internet is drawing out Wyckoff accumulation, you can rest assured that that's exactly not what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I mean, right now, we haven't even done anything we're still at levels we were at last week, where we're still at levels that we hit the week before. Right now, things are pretty much humdrum, right? I mean, we haven't, no huge crazy move yet. I mean, it's possible we get one, but so far, nothing too out of the ordinary. How do I balance the natural lengthening cycles, which is normal, with Bitcoin's unique halving cycles? Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, first of all, I don't think that we can assume that Bitcoin's going to just 100x every time Bitcoin halves. Like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We can also note that after the halving, if you measure the ROI of Bitcoin, say from the halving, it's actually, you can look at it here, right? It took longer. So this is after the first halving. This was after the second one. Right now, this is after the third one. So it took a lot longer. So the first halving ended, it would have already ended. The second one took another, 150 days from here. That's why I'm saying this one could take, well beyond that. And I think we just need time. Yeah, we looked at the monthly RSI. Someone said look at the monthly RSI. We looked at the monthly RSI a few days ago on the channel. But sure, we can pull it up. Let me make this something you guys can see, but clear. Yeah. So, I mean, like, hard to draw trend lines, right? Hard to really draw trend lines. Maybe it'll look something like that. I don't know. One thing I think that's interesting with these monthly RSIs is that, one way to look at it is, okay, well, this one was sort of like, like this, and then this one was like this. I note that they had double peaks, right? Maybe this is the first. This one didn't make it to any of the other ones, so maybe this one is like this. I don't know, and then I don't know, we'll come back up or something. So you have like your first pocket, your second longer pocket, and then the third. Yeah, this is the monthly RSI, and if you look at where it rebounded in prior times, we talked about this the other day, all the way up here. Okay, This one, we've come right back down, which I think is in line with the idea that cycle should lengthen. I mean, if we just bounced off of this level and immediately came back up, then yeah, we're not, you know, it's more likely that we're going to have a cycle quicker than I was anticipating. But so far, I think the fact that we've come back all the way down to these levels is just further evidence that it's, you know, it's taking a bit longer to get that second move. I think the real question that we always have to ask is, did you buy Bitcoin in California, Texas, Florida? Where'd you buy it? That's the question. Did you buy it in Texas, California? Hopefully some people got some over here in Texas, maybe in Florida, in Carolinas. Maybe some in California. I don't know. Someone said Michigan. I'm not sure how you bought in Michigan. Well, maybe we're heading out. Maybe we're heading out now out over the Atlantic. We're heading out over the Atlantic. We'll find something else later on. We'll hit the European coast or something. You guys want to go to Scandinavia? Way up there? All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? I mean, you know, Bitcoin's still doing the same thing. It's just trading at around 34K. We'll see if we hold the line there and we continue to remain range bound for a while. I mean, if we zoom in, I guess we can see what things are doing on a shorter time frame really quick. So I mean, yeah, it's, you know, we've been putting in lower highs, higher lows, generally speaking, right? Lower highs, higher lows. Get a little pennant. I mean, I think day traders would say this is a bearish pattern, I believe. I don't really trade these patterns, but I believe that's what a day trader might say. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Justin says he's surprised to hear that I have a wife. I don't know why that's so surprising, but I guess I get where you're coming from. I don't know. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else. We just wanted to come on and talk about Bitcoin for a little bit. We've been going for almost an hour. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the sale on the premium list. We're gonna keep it going for the rest of this week, and then that one's gonna stop. And also remember to check out the Telegram channel. I'll just post it here in the description if you guys want to join. All right, guys, I don't really have anything else. Just wanted to talk about Bitcoin for a little bit. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, click the bell icon, turn on your notifications. We will continue to navigate this cycle. Remember, time is on our side. I think consolidation for a while is key, not for 1 or 2 weeks, but for many, many months before we could reasonably expect to put in new all-time highs. But thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe, and I'll see you next time.